Hey there, it's YoBo. I believe this is day 257 of Life According to YoBo. I don't know, I'm just having so much fun, but I thank you for being back with us. I am actually on location and didn't have any of my books with me, but I just happened to be in someone's house who has the I Can Cook cookbook. If this is you, and you know you can't cook, you may want to get this cookbook. Honey, you'll be cooking up a storm. They won't be talking about you anymore. Just a moment. Let me pause my music. Okay, let's get back to this message. In the previous day's message, I was telling you that perspective really forms the way we view life. It's 1% of what happens, 99% your perspective. My sister and I were raised in the same household. I feel as though she walked away from that household bitter, and she has admitted that she had bitterness and resentment, not just toward our father, but toward our mother as well. So she walked away bitter. I walked away not better than her, but I walked away wanting to make the world better because my interpretation of life, I saw how so many people helped us. So now let's look at the two of us. She's bitter, I'm better. Hold up. Your perspective helps form your personality, and then the environment, your perspective on the environment in which you are raised, that helps develop your personality. Even though we were raised in the same household, she and I had two totally different childhoods. She has often said, I spent my whole life taking care of people, to which I could not relate. It wasn't until she graduated college mid 2015 and I began to look back at her life when she said, I'm finally doing something that I wanted to do. Right now, it's all about me. Okay. With me being the better person, why am I better than her? Better in a sense that I'm enjoying my life. I've always enjoyed life. What has made me feel as though I came out of the household better than her? I'll tell you. It's because she shielded me from so much. I had no idea why she was doing the things she did. I don't recall my mother having a conversation with her, but when she was about age 10, my mother had a conversation with her and said, look, I need to go to school. I need to finish college so that I can support my own family. You're going to now have to take over the responsibilities of the household. So at age 10, she had a brother who was 9 years old. She had a sister who was 8 years old, myself, and then there was a baby. She now becomes the woman of the house. There was never, my dad, by then they were separated. I remember being outside playing with my childhood friend. Her name was Julie. Gail's friend was Deborah Miles. Mine was Julie Garcia. But you know what? When I thought back on it, I do remember at a certain time every day, she would say to Deborah, okay, I got to go inside and cook. I remember that. And Mama had us all trained. Even though she worked during the day, she went to school at night. We all were trained. We had to be in the house when the street lights came on. They used to call us street light, make fun of us. But we knew if Mama said be in the house when the street lights came on, we had to be in the house when the street lights came on. We didn't play with our mama. Mama would often say, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, the Holy Ghost will let me know. I just had it happen last night. I went to see someone's basketball game. I thought I'll be in town. Let me come see your game. I had no idea that one parent had said, you're on restrictions. Parents don't live in the same house. One parent said, you got a bad report card. You can't play. I live in Houston, Texas. I just happened to be in California at the game, snapped a couple pictures, sent them to my homeboy. Hey, check it out. I'm at your son's game. Uh-oh, what you mean you at his game? He's supposed to be on a punishment. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I live in Houston. I just happen to be in town. I sent the pictures. Well, that's just an example of why we obeyed my mother. Okay, getting back to my sister. At a certain point every day, she would go inside and cook. Street lights came on, we went inside, dinner would be ready. And I mean, she was frying whole chickens, making mashed potatoes. She was picking greens out of the garden. I was a grown woman before I knew how to pick greens. I mean, in the last few years. And she says, well, you don't know how to pick greens? I said, no. Mama never showed you how to pick greens? No, Mama never showed me how to cook. I got married and didn't know how to cook. My sister did because Mama taught her all that. So we'd go inside, she'd have dinner ready. That was just a routine that we did every day. As I thought back on it, I don't remember my mother teaching me anything. Gail taught me to sew. She taught me how to make a buttonhole. She taught me how to put in a zipper. She taught me to hem. She taught me to, fold the fabric, stitch it first, and then you sew it by hand. She taught me how to wear stockings. Back then, you used a garter belt, and you had individual stockings. So she taught me that, if you buy a pack and you get a run in one, you discard one. No, she said you always buy your stockings the same color. So if there's a run in one, you discard that, but you keep the good one. And so if you get a run in the other pack, you discard the bad one, but you keep the good one. So you always have a drawer full of extra stockings, and you just match those together. Those are the things she taught me. When I first got my menstrual cycle, thank God it was the Monday after school ended in the 7th grade. And my mother wasn't there. My mother had to leave in the morning to go to work. So when I got my menstrual cycle, Gail, she came in the bathroom. Okay, she got back then you had the sanitary belts. So she showed me how to put on the sanitary belt. It had a little strap in the front and a strap in the back. You had the long pad with a little piece on the end. You tie that into the front. You tie it into the back. I mean, I'm sitting there with my menstrual cycle and with a mess, and she's just going through everything. You do it like this, you do it like this. And she says your first couple days are going to be heavy, so you want to change every 2 hours. You come in and change. Call me when you come in to change. The last few days will be lighter. On your light days, you make sure you change every 4 hours, even if it's nothing on there, every 4 hours. So meet me back here in the bathroom in 2 hours. So 2 hours later, we go back into the bathroom, and here I am. I've got this soiled. I'm not trying to gross anybody out, but I'm telling you what she did. I had this soiled napkin. And, this is before we had the little gloves. So she comes in with the newspaper and she unties it from the front and the back. And then, she says you fold it in half. You get the big piece of newspaper, where the newspaper's folded. You tear it in half, okay? Tear off half a sheet. So she took it, she folded it in half, and she rolled it, folded the ends in, rolled it the other way, put it in the trash. Then she got the clean one. She said, okay, now you put on the napkin in the front and in the back. So I did it myself. She said, okay, well, that's how you change. You do this every 2 hours. So those are the things that she taught me how to do. I remember we had a washer, but we didn't have a dryer because Mama said in California, you don't need a dryer. You hang your clothes on the clothesline. I recall her being in the backyard, hanging the clothes. I recall if there was a parent-teacher meeting at school, Mama worked during the day and went to school at night. So we came home from school, parent-teacher meeting at 7 o'clock. We'd all get our jackets and we would walk to school, and she had to talk to the teachers, find out what we were doing with our grades. Then we walk home. My job was to bathe my youngest brother. My brother Eric or I would usually bathe him. Eric would play with the baby, with Victor, and then put him in the bed. So my point is, when it comes to me being better, I walked away from it better. When people helped us, when people showed up with maybe a bag of groceries, like, wow, somebody came over, they brought a bag of groceries. I'm excited. That was so nice of them to give to us. But when the bag of groceries came to the house, so what does she have to do? She has to cook the groceries. I'm still outside playing with my friends. She's got to put the groceries away. She has to cook them. She had to leave her friends outside because she had things to do. So can you see how even though we were in the same environment, we saw things differently? My takeaway from everything was that this all made me a better person. Her takeaway was, this is just more work for me. As the groceries come in, that's more work for her. For me, how kind of these people to think of us and bring us something. Then at the same time, she's doing what should have been my mother's job, because my mother was out doing what should have been our father's job. I'm 57, 58, something like that. Look, I done lied on my age so long, sometimes I don't know how old I am. But when we were growing up, women did not work outside the home. Women were home raising the children. So for our mother to leave and go to work, she was one of the first women we knew to work outside the home. And with Gail growing up until age 10, with her mother always being there and then getting all this responsibility shifted onto her shoulders, and she knew why, because my dad wasn't there to do it. I just want you to see how your perspective on one set of circumstances could change your whole view. Your environment, the environment in which you were raised or in which your child is raised, it can change the whole view. Two sisters living in the same household, walking away with two different perspectives. This is why sometimes people can't communicate, because up here, what I'm thinking about the situation is not quite what you're thinking about the situation. Now let's connect the dots. I had to call my niece, and I said to my niece, do you have some unresolved issues with your stepdad and with your mother? She said, yes, I do. I said, you need to get over it. She said, See, when you talk about getting over it, it sounds easy. When there's somebody else involved, this whole series, it sounds good. You know, this is really intriguing. Entertaining is what someone says. But now when it knocks on your front door and you have to make a decision, baby, you need to let go of 30 years worth of baggage. Okay, so now when it's me, how do we do that? And by the way, let me add, YoBo got her own baggage too. But you know how I say some things I just can't talk about till some folks are dead and gone. Ooh, I didn't walk away from this unscarred either. Got my own baggage. I'm just using now my niece as an example because I want to show you how things can pass from one generation to the next generation. My music, please. So that's where she is now. I told her I want you to think about your childhood. And I want you to get yourself to a point where you are ready to let it go. But think about it, and then we'll talk. Well, I did talk to her on yesterday. Come back tomorrow for more of Life According to YoBo. I'm going to share our conversation, okay? Well, y'all, go to YoBoProductions.com. Get yourself the I Can't Cook cookbook, because you know you can't cook. You know everybody's teasing and everybody's talking about you. Simplest recipes in the world. Look at that. What does this one say? Oh, delicious burritos. Fried pork chops. Honey, some folk don't know how to cook. I mean, just real simple stuff. Pasta primavera. Chili beans, honey. Time for you to start stinking up that kitchen. YoBo gonna help you do it. Okay, come back tomorrow for more of Life According to YoBo. Bye-bye.